Where MAGA comes to talk, and talk we will. And there's a lot going on this morning. And I'm going to talk about what really is the new Trump world order, which is an awesome place with American dominance everywhere. We'll talk a little bit about that. What's going on with Iran, but I want to start with the Robert Mueller passing and Trump's comments about Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller, he was what he did to President Trump was god awful and terrible. I mean, he was a terrible, terrible person, Robert Mueller. He really was. And the thing about Trump's comments, a lot of people are giving Trump just all this grief for what he said after the passing of Robert Mueller. Now, first of all, the people that are giving Trump a hard time for what he posted on True Social about Robert Mueller's passing are people that criticize President Trump for everything that he does. So President Trump can do no right by those people. But, I just want to talk about the context of what President Trump is talking about with Robert Mueller. Most people have not had people harassing them all the time like President Trump has had to the nth degree. I mean, the entire Robert Mueller investigation not only was a complete hoax, everyone, including Robert Mueller, knew that it was a hoax. And they had a plan with President Trump in with the Robert Mueller investigation that's been forgotten. I want to tell you what it is. I don't think there's any cream in my coffee, but oh well. I'll drink it black. The Russia investigation was not only was it a complete hoax, the accusation of the Russian dossier is so absurd. I'm going to tell you what was in the Russian dossier quickly and then tell you what Robert Mueller was up to and what a bad person he was, just in regards to what he did with President Trump. The fake Russia dossier, which was put together by British intelligence and paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign, and she's a real piece of work. Remember when she ran against Obama, Hillary Clinton's the one that started asking about the birth certificate. The whole birth certificate thing with Obama started from Hillary Clinton and her campaign in '08. So she's always stirring up trouble for people that stand up and are against her. But what the Russian dossier said was so absurd. It said that when President Trump visited Moscow this is what's in the dossier. Look this up. Don't just take my word for it. The Russian dossier said that when President Trump was in Moscow for the Miss Universe pageant, he stayed in the same hotel room as Barack Obama did when he was in Moscow, that President Trump hired two Russian prostitutes to get naked with each other in the bed, urinate on the bed Obama had slept in while he was in the corner pleasuring himself, and that Putin had high quality video with full audio of this. And he was using that to blackmail President Trump. The absurdity of that. It's just so stupid. I mean, But that's what the Russian dossier said. Okay, look it up. People that talk about the Russia, like Rachel Maddow yesterday, with her eulogizing Robert Mueller, leaves out the details because the details are so absurd of the dossier. It's not even realistic, So, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So, what their plan was with Robert Mueller was this. It was the very beginning of President Trump's first term. He had a corrupt attorney general that appointed Mueller and started this crap. And President Trump had no political experience prior to this, right? And my entire life, I've heard people say, you don't hear this anymore, but you used to hear this a lot. You can't run the government like a business, and a businessman couldn't be the president because you can't run the government like a business. And that is a common thing that has been said for years and years and years and years. And the political establishment, the permanent Washington class, the never-Trumpers, the Democrats, the deep state of which Robert Mueller was one of the leaders of, they believe that a businessman would fail as president because you can't run the government like a business. So what their plan was with the Mueller investigation was this. Investigate Trump over this absurd dossier, which I just told you, and it's an absurdity, the whole dossier. Because you can't run the government by like a business, within the first year of his presidency, the economy will collapse, the government will fall apart, and you couple that with the investigation that Mueller had going on, and the American people that elected him, people like you and me, MAGA people, would be begging him to resign or be impeached. Well, of course, his first term, and it was an incredible success, and then they found nothing in the investigation. Yeah, scum. They're all scum. Robert Mueller was scum. It's true. He was scum. And what Mueller was involved in was a coup against President Trump in his first term. It was a coup against the President of the United States, Donald Trump, in his first term. And Robert Mueller was one of the leaders of the coup through this process I just explained. And President Trump should be nice to that guy. And I'm sure you've heard that Mueller was the second longest serving FBI director. First, of course, was Hoover. So, that tells you how corrupt he is right there. But, yeah, so why should President Trump be happy when a guy that was trying to destroy his life and was one of the leaders of a coup against his presidency passes? It's crazy. Crazy. He was a terrible, terrible person, and he's going to be honored as some great American, but he was not. It was the deep state, the permanent Washington class, trying to maintain their power from the people. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new. Yeah, the MAGA cruise does set sail today, and I'll be at the port later this morning on the ship. And I'll be live streaming on the cruise all week long, guys. So make sure you've got the notification bell. Click so you get a notification when I go live on the cruise, okay? Yeah, I'll be heading down there later this morning. I'm like 98% packed, and I just got to get some things together, and then I'll be heading down there. And I know some of you will be joining us on the 10th Annual MAGA Cruise. Very excited. Very, very excited. I can't believe this is our 10th one. Wow. Exciting stuff. I will have fun. Always do. Always do. So, no, and so when you have people trying to do the things to you that they've done to Trump, I mean, these people shot him. They tried to shoot him again. They impeached him. They launched a coup against him. They've spied on him. They broke into his house, these people. I mean, these are very bad people. Very bad people. I'm curious to see if they're going to have, try to have some kind of state funeral for Robert Mueller. Well, it was on a stage, because President Trump was on a stage, but President Trump got shot. A MAGA supporter in the stands was killed protecting his family, and 2 others were shot too. So, come on. Give me a break. Stop with that stage crap. Yeah, so President Trump had the firefighter murdered, Corey. Give me a break. Give me a break. Shame on you. Shame on you. All right. But yeah, these Washington insiders are vicious, nasty people. Just vicious, nasty people. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. So how could you expect President Trump not to be a bit relieved that one of the leaders against his nonstop coup he's been dealing with, they've been harassing him for 12 years now. He spent over 10 years getting harassed by these people. Come on. Come on. Imagine if you had somebody that had tens of millions of dollars behind them that was trying to put you in jail on some fake accusations. You know, I totally understand where Trump's coming from in regards to Robert Mueller, but I'm wondering what kind of government state funeral they'll have. Is Kash Patel going to have some big FBI honor funeral for him? I hope not. I really hope not. You know, he dishonored the FBI with what he did with President Trump. The whole, I mean, think about what they put the country through, not just the president and his family, what they put the country through with that fake Russia hoax. You know, just god-awful and terrible people. Terrible people, no doubt about it. Yep. Welcome, everyone. Subscribe if you are new. And again, make sure you click that notification bell so you'll get a notification when I go live on the cruise. Here, you know, freak there, you're complaining about some spare change increase in gas prices while people are risking their lives and in some instances sacrificing their life for freedom from Islamic terrorism in Iran, and you're whining about some spare change between the cushions on the couch per gallon of gas? What kind of person are you? I mean, did you see that 19-year-old wrestler the Iranians hung the other day? My goodness. They tried to, he was Christian, standing up for freedom of his country. They tried to get him to denounce Jesus. He wouldn't do it. Then they hung him publicly. And you're whining about some gas prices going up a little bit? What a low-life scumbag you are. People out there putting everything on the line. Aren't liberals scum? Really? Aren't they scum? They really are. I know. You know, when this is over with Iran and we don't have to worry about them funding all this terrorism around the world, we'll finally have some peace in the Middle East. I didn't see these liberals condemning Iran for the attack on October 7th of Israel. That was okay to them. That was okay to them. Oh yeah, just a few hours I'll be in my cabin on the cruise ship. I'm excited. This is our 10th annual MAGA cruise, but I've been on I don't know how many cruises, because I used to take cruises a lot before this. Cruising is the best way to vacation. You're in a 5-star hotel with 5-star restaurants going with you everywhere. It's great. Oh, I'll have a great time. Thanks, Monica. Absolutely. And those of you going, you're going to have a great time too. I know you will. Those of you that have never been on one of our cruises that are going, oh man, you're going to have a great week ahead. Nothing beats cruising. Nothing. It's the best. That's why we do it. There's no better way to travel on vacation. Everyone condemned it? No. No. Mom Donnie's wife said it was a hoax, right? So no, that's not condemning it. She said it's a hoax, didn't happen. Nope. You know, this is a chat room for people that are informed about what's going on. Not a bunch of Rachel Maddow parrots regurgitating the stupidity that she utters. Democrats have primitive brains, for sure. That's why they're liberal. No doubt about it. A more developed brain, of course, would be conservative. Absolutely. I'll agree with you on that. Sasa last. Democrats have primitive brains, for sure. So we have this great new Trump world order where America is dominant in every aspect of the planet, which isn't that the way it should be? Isn't the world a much better place with the United States being dominant? You know, Tucker Carlson did an interview over the weekend, and it was just devastating. I'll share it on the podcast this week. I'll be podcasting from the cruise ship and live streaming. He said in this interview, he said a couple of dumb things. He said the United States has to share power with China and other nations worldwide. What? No, we don't. What's that about? And he was asked if Israel has a right to exist, and he wouldn't answer the question. And what the heck? He couldn't say it. Simple question, does Israel have the right to exist? And he couldn't answer the question. Will I still do a show every day on the cruise? I am going to try to, yes. I'll be checking in every day. But you want to make sure you click the notification bell, because I may not be right on the dot as I am during the week, usually, because I got a lot of activities and things I'll be doing on the ship. But yeah, I'll be in. I'll be right here on YouTube all week. Yeah, I'm bringing all of my broadcasting equipment because there's so much going on in the world. There could be major breaking news and I have to broadcast on the air. Yep, Chuck Norris. Everybody loves Chuck Norris, except liberals. They found out he's MAGA. They don't like him all of a sudden. Of course he's conservative. He was a great guy. I love those Chuck Norris movies. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I like, I think the ones I could watch the most of Chuck Norris is Missing in Action, Missing in Action to the Beginning, and the Delta Force with Lee Marvin. I like the Delta Force. You know, he's got a lot of good movies, but those are the three that I probably have watched the most. Are you going with us, Tracy? Or are you guys just going to stow away on my YouTube live stream? Missing in Action and Missing in Action to the Beginning. I've got like two very removed Chuck Norris connections. My wife and I, there's a couple we're friends with. We've been friends with them for years, and they worked on Texas Ranger. The husband was a stuntman on Walker, Texas Ranger, and the wife was a production manager on Walker, Texas Ranger. So that's one connection. And then I, many years ago, in the early to mid 90s, this is so crazy. I did the sound, you know, because I know about sound and stuff. I did sound for a production of Evita. You know Evita? You know, Madonna made the movie Evita. I did the sound on a stage production of Evita, which is a musical that was put on by the Theater of the Deaf in Fort Lauderdale. So the Theater of the Deaf, the Theater of the Deaf, the Theater of the Deaf put on a musical, Evita, and I did the sound, and the director, I cannot remember the name of the director, but he was one of the prisoners of war with Chuck Norris and Missing in Action to the Beginning. And I was all excited because he was the director of this musical that the Theater of the Deaf put on. I was a part of. It was pretty cool. They paid pretty well, too. It was a lot of money. They paid me $200 a show. Yeah. And there were 4 shows. So it was pretty good doing the sound. But I was all excited. He's in the movie. He's when they're in Missing in Action 2, and they have the American POWs there with Chuck Norris. He's the black guy. I can't remember his name. Missing in Action 2, the beginning. That's a good one. But those, I told you, they're very far removed Chuck Norris connections. I forgot. Invasion USA. Invasion USA, that's a good one. They should have done a remake with the southern border, but Invasion USA, that's another great Chuck Norris movie. Yep. I'm pretty sure he was a pallbearer at Bruce Lee's funeral. I mentioned that the other day. I'm pretty sure he was. No one's invading now. We were being invaded by illegals at the southern border. Trump shut down the border a year ago. He stopped the invasion. That's right. We were being invaded. In Invasion USA with Chuck Norris, though, it was not illegal aliens. It was mercenaries, terrorists. Colonizers. The Hispanics of South America are of European descent too. Why are they not colonizers, but white people are, right? They're descendant either of Spanish or Portuguese. So that's Europe as well. So why are they not colonizers, but white people are? Why? You know why? Because the United States is a rich, successful country. That's why. But there's other great movies. The Octagon. I haven't seen The Octagon in a while, but that's a good one. Chuck Norris. I never watched Walker, Texas Ranger. I wonder, though, remember he used to do the, what was that exercise machine commercial, infomercial that Chuck Norris did with Christy Brinkley? What was that thing called? He did this exercise infomercial with Christy Brinkley for years. What was that called? I forgot the name of that device. Does anyone remember? Oh. Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley. I bet you he made more money off of that than his movies. I can't remember what the name of it was. Somebody will know in the chat. The exercise machine, the Bowflex? I don't think it was the Bowflex. Roboflex? Bowlex? Total Gym? I don't know. Now I thought I would know. Now you threw those 3 out. It's got to be one of those. The Total Gym? Oh my gosh, you're putting out too many. Now I don't know. Somebody Google it and get the right one. Nordic Track? I don't know. No. Thigh Master, that? No. That was Suzanne Summers. Total Gym? Maybe. It was one of those. I know. I thought I would know it as soon as I heard it, but there were too many ripoffs of it. Was it Total Gym? Yeah. I bet he made I bet you Chuck Norris made more money off of Total Gym than he did most all of his movies combined. Because his movies, Golden Globus, remember the producers, Golden Globus, and they were very low budget. Total Gym, all right, there we go. Great American, Chuck Norris. He will be missed, no doubt about it. Chuck Norris. I know, it's sad. When you get older, all your heroes start dying. I thought we were going to lose William Shatner the other day. He got rushed to the hospital. He fell off a horse, and he did not look well. He's like 93. No, President Trump did not dodge the draft. But this is one of the things I don't get with the left. They like to call Trump a draft dodger, right? Bone spurs, right? First off, he did not dodge the draft. You can't have bone spurs and be in the service. You got to march. My dad was in Vietnam. He still has feet problems. He had perfect feet when he went to Vietnam. He was 18, 19, and he still has feet problems today. And he left Vietnam in '69. You have to have perfect feet to go off over there. It was a swamp. But Anyway, he didn't dodge the draft, but the Democrats accuse him of dodging the draft. And this is what I don't get. The Democrats were the ones that were promoting the idea of dodging the draft. It was the Democrats that were burning draft cards and sending their kids to Canada to not get drafted. And President Carter pardoned all the draft dodgers, remember that, who fled to Canada so they could come back to the United States. So when did Democrats all of a sudden come out against dodging the draft during Vietnam? Because up until they came up with this false talking point about Trump, dodging the draft was like the highest form of patriotism, according to Democrats. So now all of a sudden it's dishonorable. Which is it? Right? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. My goodness. Exactly. I never hear you guys call Muhammad Ali a draft dodger. Yep. No doubt. I know the Democrats are just, they stand for nothing, right? They stand for nothing, and all they have are these ridiculous talking points. And the talking points change over the years. I've seen them come and go. They change. We don't have a draft. We have a 100% volunteer military. You don't want a draft. One of the things that the military learned in Vietnam is that volunteer troops fight better than drafted troops. I mean, we didn't have a draft after 9/11. Why would we have a draft for an air campaign over Iran? That makes no sense at all. Yeah, another one, Sin Barron, yeah. Barron's too tall. I don't even know if they would take him in the service. He's too tall to be in the infantry. Nope, too tall. And you call Trump a draft dodger. President Trump took a bullet for this country in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's right. I'll never forget it. And he got up. Man, that was a scary day. I was crying. I mean, I was crying. He got up covered in blood and said, "Fight, fight, fight." That was pretty badass, wasn't it? Heck yeah, that was it. Oh man, that was badass. Man, that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Call him a coward. He took a bullet for the country. The people that Robert Mueller is in league with are the ones who shot the president in Butler and assassinated Charlie Kirk. Think about that. It's disgusting. It really is. Yep, Democrats are morons. I will agree with you that. Confused coffee, Democrats are morons. Agreed. Yep. I know. Yesterday, I'll just tell you guys that are Patreon members, I found out something on Friday. I made a video that's on my Patreon. And yesterday morning, I was asking those of you that were Patreon supporters to watch the video and give me your feedback on whether I should talk about that on the show here. And I got a lot of feedback from you guys. And it was almost unanimous. No, we need more information. I agree. We need more information. Before I go public, by the way, have you all noticed that Joe Rogan's going after Erica Kirk? I mean, why is Joe Rogan attacking Erica Kirk? Because Candace Owens is, and he's trying to get views on it? I mean, clout chasing? I mean, what the heck? Should be ashamed of himself. Really should. Should be ashamed of himself for that. It's disgusting. Yeah. No, he said a couple of things about her lately. I'm not going to say what they are, but pretty bad. One of them was pretty bad. Yeah, guys, so again, make sure that you've got the notification bell clicked so you get a notification when I go live on the cruise this week, because I will be live streaming from the cruise. I'll live stream it early in the mornings like I always do, as much as I can. I'm just not sure if I'm going to set up, if I live stream in the morning, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it in my cabin or go to another part of the ship and do it. The internet in the cabin is really, really good, but I don't know if it'd be too loud for the people in the cabins next to me. I don't know. You should not be attacking widows. That's just not right. Regardless of what your thoughts are on Charlie Kirk or who was behind it, you know, Erica's got 2 young kids to take care of, and she's probably terrified that some crazed lunatic leftist will come after them. You know, she's got a lot on her plate, and people should not be going after her. It's very low life, very low life. But, you know, the left have no class. Right? They're classless people. She's got an incredible overhead, right? You know, a lot of people work at Turning Point USA. She's got to keep them working. She's got a lot of overhead. Only a liberal would think money is a bad thing. The only people that think money is dirty are people that don't have any and are too lazy to go out and make some. You know? Well, the Iron Dome has saved a lot of lives. The Iron Dome is American, and that's what President Trump, we're going to have the Golden Dome over North America, the United States and Canada. Does Mexico get protection from the Golden Dome that President Trump's putting in place? I don't know. Leave grieving widows alone. Absolutely, Travis. It's pretty scummy. Regardless of what you think about Charlie or, you know, with your bizarro, wackadoodle Candace Owens conspiracy theories, going after her is as low life as it gets. It really is. But, you know, you're classless people, you know, on the left. Liberals have no class. They just don't. He smokes dope. Well, I know this, that, and I know this in my heart, the same people that shot the president in Butler and tried to shoot him again at the golf course a couple months later are the same people that assassinated Charlie. Right? Here's another one, billionaires. Liberals always billionaires. You know, all these leftists, Elizabeth Warren, AOC, Bernie Sanders, you know, the usual suspects of low life and scum buckets on the left, all of a sudden billionaires are evil, billionaires. It used to be millionaires, but all the Democratic socialists are millionaires. So millionaires are good people now. It's the billionaires that are bad. Bernie, AOC, Elizabeth Warren, Gavin Newsom, all your Democratic, socialist, leftist are all multi-millionaires. Mamdani, multi-millionaire. So it's the billionaires that are bad now because they're millionaires. Oh my goodness. I tell you. Being a liberal's got to be very frustrating because you're just all so angry at everything over nothing. You don't even understand what's going on. You're just constantly in a rage. You know, Elon and Trump have never stopped being friends. That they put on that act because leftists were firebombing Tesla dealerships, you know, and Elon and the president pretended to have a falling out to stop the attacks on these poor car salesmen at the Tesla dealerships. That's what that was all about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, liberals have always been classless. I've never known a time where Democrats were not classless lowlives. The focus of their rage just changes over the years, right? They used to have Ronald Reagan derangement syndrome. Now it's Trump derangement syndrome. But the Democrat Party is about to fade out of existence, so they're caged animals. They're really losing their minds now because their party will not exist in a bit. It's true. And they know it. So that has them really freaked out. You mean illegals? The First Lady's an immigrant. President Trump is a first-generation American. His mother is an immigrant from Scotland. All of the Trump children, except Tiffany, are first-generation Americans. Their mothers are legal immigrants to the United States and naturalized U.S. citizens. So President Trump is a first-generation American. MAGA doesn't hate immigrants. We just don't want illegal immigrants coming over here and retiring off the dole. I mean, there's an article earlier this week about 50% of illegals are on some form of welfare. They're not even supposed to qualify for welfare. How are they getting it? President Trump's mother is from Scotland. She's an immigrant. That makes him a first-generation American. All of Trump's children, except Tiffany, Marla Maples is Tiffany's mom, but all of his other children, they're the children of an immigrant mother. Ivana, I forgot where she was. Where was Ivana from? Romania, Czechoslovakia, and of course Melania. All first-generation Americans, the whole Trump family except Tiffany. No. You liberals didn't think that through too clearly, did you? Why would a family of first-generation Americans hate immigrants? Come on. You guys are so stupid, really. Aren't Democrats dumb? Aren't they? You know, and they think they know so much. They don't know jack. Czechoslovakia, yeah. They don't know jack, and they think they know it all. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Marla Maples is Tiffany Trump's mom. She's an American. Yep. Melania is from Slovenia. Ivana was from Czechoslovakia. I would say AOC dumb. I like AOC dumb. Democrats have terrible, stupid arguments. Absolutely. I tell you, a few years ago, I was watching The Amazing Race, and they went to Slovenia. Slovenia is like a perfect place, right out of a Disney movie. It's like what my wife said when we saw it on The Amazing Race. Slovenia is like Arendelle. Do you guys know where Arendelle is? Arendelle is the kingdom in Frozen. When The Amazing Race went to Slovenia, where Melania is from, it is a perfect place. I mean, I couldn't believe. She's the most famous Slovenian. That's right. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. And guys, also click that notification bell so you'll get a notification when I go live on the cruise this week, because I will be live streaming all week from the cruise ship. We have Elon's Starlink internet, and it's very good. I live streamed a little bit on the last one, but I wasn't expecting it to work well enough, so I didn't bring all my gear, which I'm bringing this time. Welcome everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. But it is, I'm really excited. It's my annual vacation, and I get to take my vacation with great people from the audience here. There's a lot of people on the cruise that are regulars in the YouTube chat here. Oh, I'm excited. I love it. I love the cruise. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And the listeners that go are nice, nice people. This is our largest group yet, I believe. The travel agent Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot told me this is our largest group we've ever had. I'm very excited. Oh man. But it's a big news week, so hopefully I won't have to broadcast on the radio this week, just on YouTube. But if there's big news, I'm going to have to go live on the air this week on the radio, not just YouTube. Welcome everyone. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. Oh, and I love how President Trump is going to send the TSA or send ICE to the airports to take up for TSA. You know, what the Democrats are doing to the TSA agents is 100% treason, what they're doing. Here we are in a very hot war with the leader of all the Islamic terrorism in the world. The reason we have the TSA were established because of 9/11, the Islamic terror attack of 9/11. By Al-Qaeda, and Iran trained Al-Qaeda. And during a war with this terrorist nation, they stopped paying the TSA agents at the airport. If that's not giving aid and comfort to the enemy, I don't know what is. Right? Exactly. My goodness. Should be ashamed of themselves. They really should be ashamed of themselves. But, you know, that's how Democrats are. They have no morals whatsoever. They have one guiding principle. They're consumed by their hatred of President Trump. That's it. Anything to hate on Trump. They don't care who it hurts. And these poor THA people, I mean, they can't afford to pay their rents, their mortgages, their car payments. I mean, what they're putting them through is just disgusting. You know, they're making, you know, in time of war, I've seen the Democrats do some pretty low-life things in my life. I really have. But they never cease to amaze me at how low they will go. Did you see Schumer out there with a couple of people chanting Jim Crow 2.0? They look like a bunch of idiots. Maganomics, that's right. Maganomics are doing the country very well. President Trump knows about economics. He's an economist, right? He's a billionaire many times over. Won the tariff wars worldwide. Well, what they would do, you know, they're trying to say, well, the ICE agents don't know how to operate the equipment that TSA uses at the airport. That's true. But with ICE there, it would free up the TSA agents to use the equipment, and they can do the crowd control. The Democrats are committing treason. They are, yes. Without a doubt, they're committing treason. Well, so guys, I'm going to take off, but I will see you later. So again, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell. I will be live streaming throughout the week on the cruise from the ocean and from ports of call. All right, so I'll see you. Take care. Thanks for watching. My name's Brian. This